I don't remember much about the day I was born, but the people at the orphanage, the ones who took me in, told me the story when I was old enough to understand. They said I was left in a little basket, placed carefully at the doorstep of the orphanage early one morning. There was a small piece of paper beside me, but it only had a few words written on it, words I would never know. All I knew was that I was alone, abandoned. When they told me this, something inside me broke. I couldn't help but imagine what it was like for my mother, what must have gone through her mind when she left me there. Was it too much for her to bear, seeing me with two heads, a body so different from all the other children? I never understood why I was this way, but as I grew up, I came to believe that my condition was the reason my mother walked away. I was never like the other kids. At first, I didn't realize it, but as time went on, I started to feel it. The strange looks, the whispers behind my back, two heads, two faces, two minds. It was too much for everyone, it seemed. Even at the orphanage, the other kids avoided me, not because they were mean, but because they were scared of what I was. And I could feel that fear. I could feel the rejection. I spent many nights lying awake, staring at the ceiling of my tiny room, wondering why this had happened to me. Why had I been born like this? What did I do wrong? Was I not good enough to be loved? Why didn't my mother want me? But there came a time, a moment, when things started to change. I don't know what it was exactly. Maybe the quiet of the night, or the soft whisper of the wind through the window. But I suddenly understood. I realized that the pain my mother must have felt was something I couldn't fathom. I couldn't hate her anymore. I couldn't hate her for leaving me behind, because maybe she didn't know how to love me. Maybe she couldn't understand what I was, and maybe she thought it was too much for her to carry. I realized, too, that I had been carrying that same anger and hurt in my heart for so long, and it was only holding me back. I had been so focused on my pain that I had never stopped to think about her pain. She must have been scared, confused, and unsure. I couldn't imagine what it was like for her to look at me and feel that heartbreak. And so, in the silence of that room, I forgave her. I let go of all the anger and the questions that had been tormenting me for so long. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight, but I started to understand that love wasn't about perfection. It wasn't about being the same as everyone else. Love is about acceptance. And in that moment, I accepted myself. I accepted that I had two heads, that I was different, and that was okay. I didn't need to be angry anymore. I didn't need to feel sorry for myself, because I knew that despite everything, I was still worthy of love. And I knew that somehow my mother had loved me too, in her own way, even if she couldn't show it. I began to feel a peace I had never known before, a peace that came from understanding, not just of her, but of myself. And most of all, I felt the love of God. In that moment, I realized that no matter what, God had never abandoned me. He had always been there, guiding me, loving me through the darkness. And with that love, I found the strength to forgive my mother, to forgive myself, and to stop hating what I couldn't change. I no longer feel like the abandoned child in the basket, left at the door of the orphanage. I don't feel alone anymore, because I know that I am loved, and I know that no matter how different I am, God will always be with me.
I've been walking this road alone, with nothing but my thoughts to keep me warm. The world's been hard, but I've stayed strong. I'm learning who I am, where I belong. The past tries to hold me down, but I rise above, I don't turn around. With every step, I find my way. I'll keep pushing through, come what may. I've been broken, I've been bruised, but I'll keep fighting, I won't lose. The dark can't keep me from the light. I'll find my strength and take flight. Through the pain, I will soar. I'll keep believing in something more. No matter the storm, no matter the fight, I'll rise again, stronger than before. I've been left behind, but I don't mind. I've learned to love myself, I've found peace of mind. The world can stare, they can turn away, but I'll stand tall, I'll make my way. The weight may be heavy, but I carry it well. I've learned to forgive, I've learned to tell the story of my heart, my soul, my truth. I won't let anything steal my youth. I've been broken, I've been bruised, but I'll keep fighting, I won't lose. The dark can't keep me from the light. I'll find my strength and take flight. Through the pain, I will soar. I'll keep believing in something more. No matter the storm, no matter the fight, I'll rise again, stronger than before. The road may be long, but I'm not afraid. I'll walk through the fire, I won't be swayed. I'll keep moving forward, I'll keep the pace, because in the end, love will light the way. I've been broken, I've been bruised, but I'll keep fighting, I won't lose. The dark can't keep me from the light. I'll find my strength and take flight. Through the pain, I will soar. I'll keep believing in something more. No matter the storm, no matter the fight, I'll rise again, stronger than before. I'll rise once more.